In 2014, a Vermont janitor named Ronald Read died and left behind more than $8 million. No inheritance, no lottery. Just a lifetime of quiet saving and patience. That same decade, a Harvard-educated Wall Street executive went bankrupt. Now you've probably seen a video about what this means. You've seen the psychology of money summarized a dozen times. This is the version with the actual science, including the two things almost everyone gets wrong. Start with the uncomfortable truth at the center of it all. As Morgan Housel puts it, doing well with money has little to do with how smart you are, and a lot to do with how you behave. That's why a janitor can outinvest a banker. Financial success isn't a hard science you can ace with a high enough IQ. It's a soft skill: patience, humility, and emotional control. There are people with economics, PhDs who are broke, and high school dropouts who quietly retire rich. The gap between them isn't knowledge, it's behavior. So why is behaving well so hard? Because your brain was not built for this. It was built to survive, to grab the reward in front of you and worry about later. Money is abstract, and the future is invisible. Every dollar you save is a small, silent act of resisting an instinct that is millions of years old. Which is why understanding the specific ways your mind works against you isn't optional. It's the whole game. Here's the first mechanism, and it's backed by a Nobel Prize. In 1979, the psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky showed that losses don't feel like the opposite of gains. They feel about twice as powerful. Losing $100 hurts roughly 2.25 times as much as winning $100 feels good. That single asymmetry quietly wrecks portfolios. It's why people hold their losing investments for years, praying to break even, and sell their winners far too early, just to make the fear stop. But loss aversion is real and well known. Now let's get to the part the summaries get wrong. There's one line repeated in almost every money video ever made. You've heard it 100 times. Money can't buy happiness. And past about $75,000 a year, more money doesn't make you any happier. It sounds wise. It's also, according to the latest science, wrong. Here's where that number came from. In 2010, Kahneman and Angus Deaton found that day-to-day emotional well-being seemed to rise with income, then flatten out around $75,000. The internet turned that into a law. But in 2021, a researcher named Matthew Killingsworth collected over 1.7 million real-time happiness reports from people's phones. And he found no plateau at all. Happiness kept rising with income, straight past $75,000, past $100,000, and beyond. So who was right? In 2023, in a rare move, Kahneman teamed up with his own critic to settle it. The answer: for the least happy 20% of people, there is a plateau. For everyone else, more money keeps helping. So money does buy happiness, but read the fine print. It buys it with sharply diminishing returns, and it buys a specific kind, not a bigger pile of stuff. Because of something called the hedonic treadmill, whatever you buy quickly becomes your new normal. A famous 1978 study found that lottery winners drifted back toward their old level of happiness within months, and enjoyed everyday pleasures less than before. What money actually buys when you use it well is the removal of stress and control over your time. Housel calls that the highest dividend money pays. Now the second myth, and this one you were probably taught as a kid, the marshmallow test. Give a 4-year-old a marshmallow. Tell them they can have 2 if they wait, and the ones who resist supposedly grow up more successful. Willpower as destiny. Except in 2018, a much larger, more diverse study tried to replicate it, and the effect nearly vanished. Once researchers accounted for the child's family and environment, the ability to wait barely predicted anything. The kids who waited weren't simply more disciplined. They were, mostly, more secure. Willpower isn't just character, it's circumstance. So if it isn't raw intelligence, and it isn't pure willpower, what actually builds wealth? 2 things. The first is time. Warren Buffett is worth tens of billions. But here's the part nobody mentions. $81.5 billion of his $84.5 billion fortune was earned after his 65th birthday. He started investing at age 10. His secret isn't genius, it's that he never stopped. The second thing is invisible. Real wealth is not the car in the driveway or the watch on the wrist. That's just spending. Real wealth is the money you did not spend. It's the iceberg beneath the surface that nobody sees. Which brings up the hardest financial skill of all, knowing when you have enough. Every year, people who already have more than they could ever need blow it all up, reaching for more. More status, more validation, a bigger number. And the goalposts move the moment you reach them, so the real skill isn't earning more. It's deciding, on purpose, where your finish line is, and then having the discipline to stop running past it. So here's the honest picture so far. You probably already know most of this. Spend less than you earn. Save. Be patient. Don't panic. And yet, more than a third of American adults couldn't cover a $400 emergency with cash. Only about half could handle $1,000. This is the behavior gap. The canyon between what we know and what we actually do. And no amount of new information closes it, because the problem was never a lack of information. The reason is simple. Every system around you is engineered to make spending effortless and saving hard. One-click checkout, buy now, pay later, ads tuned to your exact insecurities. Meanwhile, saving asks you to feel a small loss today for an invisible reward decades away. The exact trade your brain is worst at. Fighting all of that with willpower alone is like holding your breath. You'll win for a while, and then you'll gasp. So don't rely on willpower. Change the defaults. In one landmark experiment called Save More Tomorrow, the economists Richard Thaler and Shlomo Ben-Artzi didn't lecture anyone about discipline. They just had people pre-commit to save a little more out of each future raise, so their take-home pay never actually dropped. The result? Savings rates climbed from 3.5% to over 13% in about 4 years. Almost nobody quit. That's the whole trick. Make the good behavior automatic, and make the bad one require effort. Automate your savings. Delete the shopping apps. Design the friction. And give yourself permission to be reasonable, not perfectly rational. The math might say invest every spare dollar, but if that keeps you awake at night, it's the wrong plan for you. Housel points out that even a Nobel-winning economist kept his own money in a simple, technically suboptimal split, just so he could sleep. Manage your money in a way that lets you rest, and stop measuring yourself against people playing a completely different game. The flashy spending you envy is usually a receipt, not a balance. So strip away the myths, and here's what's actually true. Doing well with money is about behavior, not IQ. More money does buy happiness, but with steep diminishing returns, and mostly by buying you less stress and more freedom. Willpower is real, but it's fragile, and it's shaped by circumstance. Wealth is what you don't see, and the surest way to change your finances isn't to try harder. It's to change the system you're operating in. Because in the end, the psychology of money isn't really about getting rich. It's about using money as a tool to build a life you don't feel the need to escape from. You don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just have to save quietly, wait patiently, want a little less, and automate the rest. So pick one thing this week. One good behavior. And make it automatic. Then let time do what it does best.